Hi everybody, today we're going to start our mini-series. In the next couple of weeks we're going to be looking at the Grand behind me here, and we're going to be doing exactly the same thing on the Ocean as well. So we're going to do like a little mini-series of what to do when you actually get one of these vehicles. So you bought one, you take it home, and what happens next. So we're going to be looking today, for example, on the Grand. We're going to kick this off looking at the watering system. Now we've looked at the water system before, there's a video on the Grand on how it works, but today we're just actually looking about what you actually physically do to put water in there, and a little few tips on what to do if something else happens. Now the whole reason we're doing this little mini series now, because obviously things have changed a lot from a handover perspective. Now if you buy California, the handover experience is a lot different to as it was before. Previously it's been very much hands-on. Many times I've done a California handover and it's taken 2-3 hours to do that. Unfortunately in today's world that hands-on demonstration is not going to be happening for some time for the moment. There'll still be some degree of showing you how things work when you're on site, but obviously with the 2-metre rule that's in place at the moment, and obviously with it being an enclosed space, it is going to be very difficult. So we decided we're going to run these mini series. We're going to start looking at, so today we're going to do on the Grand. We're going to take you through the watering system, so how that works, when you get it home, what you need to do that's with it, and then the next video after that we're going to look at the gas supply, which I've been talking about for a little while, so how that works, how you connect it up, and the different systems without the gas system as well. So the next 2 videos that are coming up for the Grand, and then obviously we'll alternate those with the Ocean model as well, and we'll probably do exactly the same format with those and pull it through from there. Right, so let's get it to with the watering system. Now obviously if you bought your vehicle from us, it will come with a certain way. So on the Grand, for example, you will actually have water already in your tank, and that's because we need it in there to ensure that things like your combi boiler, which has your hot water, is working effectively. Obviously it depends on where you purchase your vehicle from. You might find there isn't water in there, or there is water in there, depending on what's actually been tested. So we're going to work on the basis that there's no water in there. So you've just got your vehicle home, you've had a very quick handover, here's this, here's that, etc. You're like, right, what do we do next? So first thing is we need to put water in it, and the reason for that is because before you put your gas and everything else on it, you need water in it, because your combi boiler, for example, needs water in the heating system. So the water is the best place to start first. So that goes in the back here. So on the Grand, similar to the Ocean models as well, you've got this big flap, and then underneath the flap here is where your actual water goes through. Now you get a key, 2 keys like this with the vehicle. You put your key in, turn it the other way around, and then this allows it to come off. You will see a little sign over here saying no fuel. That's one of the reasons why there's a lock on this, is to make sure nobody puts any fuel in the vehicle. Get your hose pipe, pull that will be off the site or wherever you are, you're at home. Pop your hose pipe in, just pop it in, turn your water on, and then obviously then it will fill up your tank. So it's 110 litres I think, so it will take quite a long time for your tank to fill up. And obviously you can check on the inside, so if you wanted, for example, to fill it for 5 minutes or so and then turn the water off and go into the control panel. We'll show you the control panel again quickly now, and it'll show you how much of the actual tank you've filled, what percentage you've got in there, if it's half fill, etc. that's on there. So on your control panel, just hit water and it'll show in there how much you've got. So currently we've got 43% in this vehicle and 11% in the grey tank. So first time off, you don't need to fill it all the way up if you don't want to, but you need to put, I'd probably put half of it in really for the time being, and put that in, and that's how you do that. A couple of things just to bear in mind. If you are filling the tank up from the side, and after a couple of seconds, a minute or so, you start hearing water pour from outside of the vehicle, don't panic, there's nothing wrong. It happened to me the first time I did it, and it's purely because some of the valves inside the vehicle, for example, might not actually be set to off. So there's 2 lots of valves that's in there, and I'm going to talk you through those 2 in a minute now. So if you do start hearing water come out from the side, just turn your hose pipe off and then follow me and I'll show you what we do next. So if water is pouring out from underneath the vehicle, it will probably nearly 100% be one thing, but there is something else to check after that if need be, and that's to do with the water heater. So for example, if you want to empty the water system in the California Grand, obviously you'd empty the main water tank, and we'll show you how you do that in a moment, but also as well is the actual heater, the water heater, has its own supply of water that's in there, so you'd need to drain that as well. So obviously that has its own drain channel that's in there, which I'm going to show you now, which is underneath the passenger seat in the back. You've got your control for your combi boiler, which we're going to show you in the gas section of the video we do. But just in here, you'll see that there's a little box with a blue lid on the top of it. It's here. If you want to empty the water heater, you would flick that switch over, and as you flick it over, there's a button at the bottom which flips out. Now the water now, any water that was in that system, in the heater, would drain straight out of the vehicle, and that's actually what's happening when you're trying to fill up. So you're trying to fill up the back, and so the tank's getting full in the back, and then it's pumping water into the water heater, and because the valve's open, it's going straight out onto the floor, and that's what's causing your water to drain out. So it's quite a simple process. So if you are getting that it's draining onto the floor, just pop back in, pop this toggle switch so it's in line. So basically that's pointing in the direction of the tubes, but the most important thing is there's a little button at the bottom which you press, and as long as that is flush, that means the system then is actually locked, so water will retain in the actual heating system itself. So I know sometimes you might think, well, you know, would that not be checked? It would normally be checked, but it's that little blue button, I'll be honest with you. If you ever end up draining the system yourself at some point, you'll probably do it, because to be honest, I did it once. I was checking it, I drained it, then I forgot to press the blue button, and then I'm filling my tank up, and it's just pouring out from under the vehicle, and I'm scratching my head. So as long as those two things and that button's pressed back in, the water then, when you fill up from the side, won't drain out under the vehicle, and it will pump through to the water heater. So if you want to actually empty the tank, there is another way of doing that as well from the tank that's here, and it's actually located in this cupboard at the back. So you open the cupboard up, underneath this little panel here in the back, there we go. So underneath here is the two drains that's there. So obviously you can open these. If you open that up like that, and then water would then come out on the back of the vehicle near the rear tyre, and it would just pour out of the vehicle from that section there and back onto the ground. So again, if you are, for example, putting water in and water's flowing back out, it would be very rare that they would do, because these are closed from the factory, but that's where those are if you should ever need to empty the tank. And then finally, on your actual tank itself, which is located in the bed section at the back, we've done that in a video separately as well. We'll put a link into that video down in the description below. But on there as well there is a knob you can twist, basically, which will then obviously release the water as well from this tank in here. Right, so you've got water in your tank now, your water's full. When you were pouring it in, you would have heard the pump in the tank. That will be filling the water heater full of water. The last thing you need to do once you've done that is basically just to make sure there's water coming out of your tap, and the important one is for the hot water. So what I would do is go to your sink, put it on cold, put it on full, and let the water come through. You'll find it'll come through quite quick, but then move it to hot and put the hot on full, and that's where you'll get a lot of air coming through then, because obviously that particular boiler is under the passenger seat, so the water from there has got to come all the way around under the floor and back into that tap. So you'll hear it go it's spurting as it comes out the sink. Just let that keep going, just let the water keep flowing through. Obviously it's not going to get hot, because at this point we've not connected your gas, so your actual heater itself isn't on. But what you're making sure is you're just making sure that there's water in the whole of those lines. You've got water in your combi boiler, and you've got water in your tap as well. And as I said, it'll probably take a couple of minutes, and then you'll see it'll stop spitting it out, and it'll be coming out as you would normally expect it. Obviously, once you've got your sink tap done, just then move on to your bathroom tap as well, and just make sure again you've got the hot and cold water coming through from there. And then we're going to pick this up again next time. So on the next video on the California Grand, we're going to show you the gas bottle, and we'll show you how that integrates into the combi boiler, and then we'll actually get hot water coming through the system that's there. So thanks for watching today. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you found it useful. If you have, give us a thumbs up. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.